is I, Jonah Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from Shadyside, Ohio, where I have just heard this god-awful, shocking news about my hero, Sarah Palin, and her comment about something called blood libel. Now, in case you left-wing wackos don't understand what blood libel might be, I'll just define it for you. Blood libel, also called a blood accusation, refers to the false accusation or claim that religious minorities, usually Jews, use children in blood to certain aspects of their religious rituals and holidays. But that basically comes down to how are you going to describe how the media reacts to this tragedy in Tucson, Arizona. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think Sarah Palin has hit upon something, because I don't believe any of this nonsense at all. And I think she is being unfairly crucified for opinions that she has about the media. Because you and I understand that the media were the first ones to jump all over this thing, thinking that this might be a right-wing extremist that was behind this thing. And her in particular, remember, they crucified her because of her crosshairs on the sites of Democratic seats that might be in play. And they used that against her, and she actually has a legitimate argument. But you're not allowed to talk about that because that doesn't fit the left-wing mantra that the right-wing people are responsible for this heinous act. But that doesn't make any difference to them. But I'm going to try and explain this the way I see it and the way that it's right. Now, not all people see it the way that the mainstream media does. In fact, on MSNBC, the left-wing wacko network that started this whole nonsense, Pat Buchanan, the lone voice of conservatism in the wilderness of MSNBC, agrees with Palin. He said, quote, she waited for 4 days while this whole thing was going on before responding. And that was correct. I thought it was an excellent statement referring to Palin's video with regard to the phrase blood libel. That, of course, refers to the libel that was used in the Middle Ages and charges against Jews that were totally unsupportable slanders, and I think she's using it in the correct context. End quote. And he's exactly right about that. These people on the left are horrified by Sarah Palin. They're horrified that she actually touches a button with the American people that they cannot possibly explain. She is very popular, and they are absolutely horrified of this woman. And to explain this whole thing to everybody else, they have to come up with these right-wing extremist attitudes of theirs. And I'm telling you this right now, this is exactly what Sarah Palin had to say about this whole thing. Quote, if you don't like their ideas, meaning the left-wing media, you're free to pursue better ideas. But especially within hours of a tragedy unfolding, journalists and pundits, meaning the wackos at MSNBC and CNN, should not manufacture a blood libel that serves only to incite the very hatred and violence that they propose to condemn. And by God, she is exactly right about this. These damn hypocrites in the media that support Obama, these left-wing wackos, jumped on this thing from the get-go. And Sarah Palin called them out on it. And you know and I know that's the God's truth. And I'm telling you this right now. If these people are scared of Sarah Palin now, wait till she runs for president, because she has hit the button to these left-wing wackos that they just can't explain. But I know what it's about, and maybe you know what it's about, because I'm telling you this right now. She might be the answer to stop all this left-wing radical nonsense, and she's not afraid of the left-wing media. Do you understand that she understood as soon as she said this, that she knew exactly what the reaction was going to be? Because if you remember in the presidential campaign, she was the one person that called out the left-wing hypocrisy in the media, and they did not care for it. They are terrified of this woman, and now she's punched their buttons over this tragedy in Tucson, and I'm telling you this right now, she is the one that's not going to take any shit from these left-wing wackos in the media and the Obama-mania media, and that's just all there is to it. Until next time, I say this, God bless Sarah Palin and what she says, because she's right on target, so to say. This is your favorite Islamophobiac, Ronald Reagan. Over and out.